product market fit. Okay, that's the next area we're going to explore. We've now looked at ideal customer profile, but where is your product, your solution ideally positioned that it's an answer for somebody, okay? And to answer this key question of where are you unique, different, where are you the solution, not just a solution, just another provider, okay? So in marketing, we have this cool Venn diagram that I've always loved, and I'll use it a lot with clients to say, you can have something good and fast, but you can't have something good, fast, and cheap. You can't have all three of those together. You could have good and fast. You could have fast and cheap. That's McDonald's, basically. But you can't get good, fast, and cheap together. That's the realm in the middle of fairies, unicorns, and pixie dust. It just doesn't exist, right? So where do you fit? And this is just one example, but where do you fit in this description of what you do best, what you're best in class at, and where you're providing the ideal solution for your customers, okay? How the hell are you going to know that? How are you going to get to that point and get that insight, all right? You could play hunches and go with, well, I feel this is what we do best. You know, I feel like we've worked with clients for a while. We're really, really good at advertising. We're really, really good at lobbying, whatever it might be. I just feel it, I know it, and I'm going to stick with that. Another one that I hear a lot from our clients or just in general, which is, I've been doing this a long time. You know, I've been a banker for 30 years. I know bankers and I know caterers, and we've been doing this for a while, and these are my people. I just know them. It doesn't change. Things don't change, right? Which I don't think is true. So what if there were a better way to do this? To play not hunches or just being around for a long time, but doing it based on some insight and actual things that we're going to learn, data, okay? So how could we get to the truth, or close to the truth that we can, to get real insights into what we need to provide to our customers, okay? And these are some questions to look at. Where are we offering the most value, okay? What market or space or area can we fish in with a really sharp spear versus a net? Where are you relieving pain? Again, I love that concept of your customer would be as thrilled to meet you as you are to meet them. You've heard the saying, you want to stand out in a crowded market. In marketing, you want to stand out in a crowd. And I'd like to flip that around and look at where can you actually find the exact right crowd that your solution is the optimal one, okay? Maybe that's a smaller crowd. Maybe it's a more targeted crowd. Remember that quote from Spinal Tap when they asked them, it seems like your concerts are getting smaller and smaller, and he said, no, their appeal is getting more selective, okay? Which is a bit euphemistic, of course. But the point is that if you can find exactly where you fit, that's where you want to be. That might mean putting some more time and effort and money into market research at the beginning, but the more effort you're doing there, the less you're spending, throwing money away on your marketing and media spend, whatever it might be, later on, because you really know your customers and their emotions. All right, so how are you going to do that? One is having a focus group, or just a fancy way of talking to your customers, all right? It doesn't have to be a big, blown, full thing. It could be just picking up the phone and asking your customers, those that you know really well, asking them questions. When I launched my new agency, I talk to my customers. I do a survey twice a year anyway, but I kind of shifted a little bit with this one to get to the heart of why do they like working with us? Why do they keep coming back? What's the value that they see? And that fed into my messaging as I developed a new agency. And it's the pain points and the emotion that's going to be the most powerful and resonant versus the attributes you can get from their website, okay? Here a key is, in EO we call it the Shoshin mindset, thinking like a beginner. Like my 5-year-old walks into a room, he has no assumptions about what's happening there. He doesn't have any preconceived notions. To have that mindset, you do this exercise. So you don't have any preconceived notions. You don't say, I've been running advertising agencies for 20 years. I know how this works. To rather challenge things and question things that you've known for a long time, okay? Quantitatively, you can do surveys, and they're really straightforward to do now. SurveyMonkey, 2 or 3, 4 questions. You can get a lot of information about, from people about what they value. And I love to look at areas outside of what I do, either tangential industries or totally unrelated industries, and I get a lot of new insights about asking people who are, bankers or accountants or lawyers about motivators, because that's not me. That's not what I do every day. I think new insights and information comes from that. And then a last one is I love eliciting this input from my team because they work with customers every day. The other benefit there is they're involved in this process and they understand why we're doing it and the value of that customer input. So when we went through this exercise, when I launched Your B2B Marketing less than a year ago, I went through this and some consistent feedback from people, kept bubbling up. We've got to eat our own dog food. If we're doing this, we've got to do it for ourselves too, right? And that was that our firm is good at executing. We have a plan, we get shit done, and it happens. It's not just promises. That we are able to handle all the details, and our clients feel, hey, it's handed off to Cameron and his firm, and it's taken care of. Finally, again, we work with mid-sized companies, so a one-stop shop concept is valuable in the sense that they don't have to go to 3 firms, 4 different firms for SEO, PPC, trade shows, whatever it might be. It's handled in one spot. And again, I didn't position us this way. It's based on the feedback that my clients were good enough to share with us. All of this you would put into some different strategy documents for your marketing, a messaging guide. What are the pain points of your customers? What are your messages to address those? How does your company, your solution, handle those things with a really sharp spear, really on point? Okay, and then it's summed up to some different statements like an elevator pitch, a message, values, brand value, brand proposition, those elements. It's a foundational part of your strategy. It changes over time, but not every week. It's something that you revisit, but essentially it's going to be foundational. Okay? So we've covered these different things. Only then do you want to think about actually doing stuff. And oftentimes, that stuff is the cool things. Making ads, doing campaigns on LinkedIn, going to trade shows, making banners, whatever it might be, that we want to do first because it's fun and interesting and engaging. But if we don't do the foundational stuff first, we're going to be missing the mark. We know we're going to be off, and we're going to have an issue later on.